Kiwisaver bill. The question is that Part 1 stand part. Debate on clauses 3 to 5 in Schedule 1. The Honourable Leanne Dalzell.
Mr Chairman, I'm very pleased to rise and comment on the Financial Markets Regulators and Kiwisaver bill. Part 1, of course, deals with the preliminary provisions, and in some ways it's a bit unfortunate that we start the debate in the committee stages on such an important piece of legislation by looking at the preliminary provisions and with respect to interpretation sections rather than looking at some of the perhaps more meaty elements of the legislation, which is where we will debate the substance. And of course Part 2 probably with the focus on the role of the FMA, I will speak to that in some more detail. But what I thought, and I know that the committee stages is a technical opportunity, I guess, to look at the more technical elements of the legislation and to explain a little bit about why the Select Committee undertook particular approaches that it did undertake. And I just wanted to comment particularly on the way that we've restructured the language around financial markets participant, because I actually think that we've done quite a good job here, and I'd like to acknowledge the officials for all their good work, and I know that we were working under the pressure of time, and I really did think that we nailed what we were trying to achieve in this particular provision of this part, and I want to congratulate those that obviously submitted to us on these issues, but also the officials who really did put in such a fine effort. And really, I actually don't really want to say much more on Part 1 because it really isn't the substance of the debate, and I think I'd rather leave the substance to the more substantive parts of the bill.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to let an opportunity.
Honourable Minister.
I'm not going to let an opportunity go by because, although the member's dead right, this is not the crux of the matter. The truth is that what we're seeing here is Part 1 establishing the purposes of Parts 1 to 4, which are to establish the FMA as an independent Crown entity. Now, that's easy to say, just like that. Actually, this is a significant shift, and the purposes contained in Part 1, which talk about some of these issues more broadly, the main objectives and functions. No, I know what I'm doing. So what I'd like to suggest, Mr. Chairman, is that whilst we're talking about the purposes at this stage, we're actually seeing a fundamental shift in the regulatory landscape here for the oversight of the financial markets in New Zealand. This announcement was originally made at the Infants Dinner in April last year, and thanks to the members of the committee and others, we've seen some speedy progress on this legislation. Before we head into the detail of the bill, I just want to acknowledge the work that's been done by the Chair of the Select Committee and some of the changes that have been made as part of this process to get to where we are today. So, Mr. Chairman, I just want to leave it there, but I didn't want to take any opportunity other than to say that this is actually quite a significant step that we're entering into here, and I know the member will be anxious to make contributions to other parts, but I look forward to the speedy progress of this legislation and its sister or brother piece of legislation, the Securities Trustees legislation, through the committee stages over the next hour or so.
The question is that the Minister's amendment set out on SOP number 222 be agreed to. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that Part 1 as amended stand part. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. The contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that Part 2, debate on clauses 6 to 24, stand part.
Okay.
I call the Honourable Leanne Dalzell.
This is what I would call a meeting.